Good evening, everyone. I'm Nathan, here with my wonderful wife, Laura.
Hello.
And we're here to do a review of the board game, Piratissimo.
We sure are. As you can see, there are some interesting pieces in this game. It's not just, normal playing piece, flat board.
No cardboard cutouts, no. It's actually, the components are really nice. It looks like it's got no English on the front, but it does actually come included with official English instructions inside.
It does. Alright, quick look at the back. It's obviously been released in several different languages, as you can see
So we
there.
have United Kingdom and USA there and a whole bunch of other sort of European languages. And yeah, it's about pirates, pretty much.
It sure is. Well, essentially, yeah. Alright, so couldn't even get it out. What are we starting with? The board, perhaps?
Yeah. So
give you an idea of what you're working with this game.
The quality reminds me of like Ravensburger.
Yeah.
Sort of quality, really thick, heavy, nice components.
Definitely. There's a lot of quality pieces in here. So each corner is one of the player's ports or like home base.
Little coves or whatever it is. Yep.
Yep. I don't know whether you can see them or not, but there are little circle indentations. There's 10 of them in each corner. Those are to collect your treasure or your coins into.
Booty.
Yes, so you have to get 10 of those to actually win the game.
Yeah, so you go around collecting booty, go back to your port, deposit the booty, go around, get 10, you win.
Yep. These are the spaces here, all the little islands that you can see, and we'll explain why they have different things on them as we go through. We also have a spinner in the middle.
Yes, so the main gimmick of this game is the spinner, which controls the tornado, which can travel from island to island and do various things if it happens to land on you.
Now, unfortunately, we are missing the tornado piece. Just to show you, though, it is, if it wants to focus, it's this tiny little piece here.
It looks like a little knob off a chest of drawers or something.
We also don't have the basket,
No.
although we have had another board game in the past from, I believe, the same makers that had this basket, which I think we have floating around somewhere because the game itself didn't have everything. Oh, that was a mouthful.
I think it actually mentions some of them actually do come with the little baggie instead of the basket too.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's why, because there is a little pouch here.
Yeah, so the pouch is basically just containing the
treasure. There's quite a lot of them. They are painted in like a metallic paint, but they are wood underneath. They're not metal. You can see they all have the little hole there. That is because, as you collect them, they go onto your...
Look at those cute little ships.
Yeah. So you've got a pole at the back and the front there. That's where you're going to store them as you move around. It's not one of those pick it up and put it in front of you sort of scenarios.
The ship itself carries the treasure, and there's a very specific reason for that.
Which we'll get to.
We'll get to in a moment.
So this is for up to 4 players. We have the red and the green, and then a yellow and blue. And again, these are wood, aside from the little
Which is like
sail.
a hard plastic.
Yeah. So very durable.
Very nice pieces.
Also, if you're wondering about the sticks, those are quite well placed in there as well. They're not like wonky or anything like that.
Alright, so they've actually got their own specific starting spot.
Yeah, so the 4 corners are coloured, and they have like a little ship-shaped sort of shape. Ship-shaped shape.
Ship-shaped shape.
Goodness,
Did you want to pass me one of those little minis over there? We'll use it as a makeshift tornado.
Okay, pretend these beans are a tornado.
Yes.
Alright, we also have a very specific die in this game.
It's an oversized one, and I think there are 2 tornado sides.
Yep, and they also are one space as well. So, theoretically, you could play with a regular one, like if you found this missing it, but you would have to just say which numbers were going to be the tornadoes.
4 and 2 or something.
Yeah, you would have to decide. Now, we will have a scan of all of the information down in the description.
Here it is. It says, instead of your basket, you'll now find a practical drawstring treasure bag with treasure. So I remember reading it somewhere, so they've replaced it for convenience sake or something.
Some of the older games would have had the baskets, which is why one of the other games from the same makers that we have had the basket, That'll be down below. Eventually, we're just changing how we share those instructions, so sorry for the wait.
It's a job.
It is.
So basically, you roll, you move along the islands, and depending on what island you land on, is what functions you can do. So let's start with the neutral islands. They're the ones with no treasure chests on them. They're just plain islands. Nothing happens there.
They're just a nice little place to stop.
The only function they have is if you happen to land, if I was blue and I toddling along and I happen to land on Laura on a neutral island, some skullduggery can take place. So I can either steal 2 treasure from Laura,
If I had some of these on my ship, that is.
or I could give Laura 2 of my treasure. You might be thinking, why would I give you 2 of my treasure?
There is actually a good reason, though.
Each ship can only hold a maximum of 7 treasure.
Yes, sorry, you keep talking, I'll just put them on.
If a ship happens to get more than 7 treasure, it capsizes from being overloaded and you lose all of the treasure you've gathered.
Yeah, so maybe I'm sitting on this island. Well, I've put them on you now. My apologies. So whoever has the treasure could be sitting on this island. I might come along, and if I've got none, or I've got 2 I would have to have, wouldn't I, to give them to you?
Yeah.
Now, Nathan can't hold 2 more. He can only fit 1 more on the front. You can see it goes right up to the top of those little poles.
So
There's
it's
no
easier
more space.
it's easier to tell if you're
If you have the right amount or too many. So I might do this, and they go on, and then the ship capsizes. Yeah, it doesn't physically fall over.
No, so basically you have to return all of the treasure back to like the treasure pouch.
Because it got sunk.
It got sunk. So that is one of the reasons why you would give someone 2 pieces rather than take 2.
Otherwise, if they just had a couple and you wanted them, you would opt to take those if you were like battling on a neutral island.
So that's the neutral islands. The green treasure chests with numbers on them means you can take upwards of the maximum, up to the maximum amount. So
this one I can only take 1, or I can take 0 if perhaps I for some reason already had 7 on my ship.
No.
Or because I've just come out of port, I might not want to take any, because I can't deliver them back to my port until I've made a full circuit of the board. You can't move backwards. You have to go around.
which is dictated by the arrows on the board.
Yes.
If I land on 3, I could take 0 to 3 treasures. Obviously, I wouldn't take more than I can carry. So that's what the green treasure. I was going to say green, but they are green.
Green treasure chests. Yes, those are the useful ones, because then you can think about, well, how far around the board am I? You might not want to take 3 at the start, right near your port, because by the time you get back around, you might have landed on some more 3s, or someone might have given you some, and you don't want to capsize, because if you lose them, you have to go around again.
Yes, and the tornado can also affect treasure, and we'll get to that soon.
Get to, yeah.
The red treasure chest, you become overcome with greed, and you have to take 2 treasures regardless if that capsizes you or not.
Yes, so all of the red ones have the same number, whereas there are some varying numbers on the green ones. Obviously, taking 2 sometimes might not be an issue for you if you don't have the maximum 7.
But if you've got 6, and say you're sailing all the way around, you've got 6, or...
And I'm coming back into my port almost to drop some treasure off.
You would have to take 2, you'd capsize, lose your treasure, and you might as well just keep going around.
Yes. Now, when I've come around the board and I'm coming in to drop off my treasure, it doesn't matter how many I've got as long as it's less than the 7.
You do forfeit any movable spaces once you get to port, though.
What I was saying was the treasure, though.
Oh, yes.
So any I have, even if I only had 1 on my ship and I was coming into port, I can just stop in here and drop off 1. And like you said, if I was here and I'd rolled a 4, I don't need them. I just go 2 and I stop here. It's not by exact count.
But you don't get to then go 1, 2, 3, 4. No, your turn's ended once you unload your treasure.
Yep. When you unload, your little treasure goes in these little holes that are all through your base there.
And they're safe and locked in.
Obviously, you can only carry 7, so you do have to do a minimum of 2 laps of the board, because you need to have 10 to win.
So that's pretty much the basic fundamentals of the game. Go around, pick treasure up. The big sort of thing comes up with the tornado.
Ooh.
So the tornado just gets placed anywhere.
To start the game.
To start with.
Yes.
Roll it. Oh, it's a tornado. Now, the tornado then moves. It goes counterclockwise. Yes, I just have to remember.
The players move clockwise. Tornado, when you roll and get that, it goes the other way.
So whoever rolled the tornado, I believe you move 1 space.
So that's your ship, you move 1 space.
Yeah, 1 space ship. And
because there's a little one on there.
Depending on how many players are playing is how many that player can move the tornado. So for 2 players, they can, myself, when I rolled, can move this up to 1 to 5 spaces. 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3.
So if Nathan was over here, he might only want to move the tornado 1 so it doesn't come through him or land on him, because he doesn't want someone on the next turn to be able to get him with it.
Or I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
and go past to protect himself.
So the tornado can go past ships, but if the tornado lands somewhere where there's a ship, that's when the tornado spinner comes into play.
Yeah. So if I was over here and the tornado was here, Nathan's not going to move it the whole 5. He's going to go 1, 2, 3 and land it on me, of course, or whoever else he's playing against.
So then Laura would be like, darn, you know, I need to spin the tornado spinner. And then depending on where it lands, different things occur.
Yeah, so there are 2 spaces here you can see that have like the little treasure coins with a red cross over them.
Which I can't actually remember.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pick the one you couldn't remember.
I think you have to lose 2 treasure. So let's see.
I think that's what it is. I think that's why there's 2 on there with the
cross.
crossover.
The tornado has hit the ship and washes 2 treasure pieces into the sea.
Yep. So if you had some on your ship, either 2 or more, you would then just take them and put them back. Alright, so there's 2 of those. That's like the most common one to spin. We also then have like a little
dock
jetty sort of dock thing there.
So basically it's saying the man in the lookout post saw the oncoming tornado early and then moved the affected ship to their corresponding harbour, which is extremely useful in some cases.
Yes, so I mean I could be potentially over this side of the board. I might not have all my 7, it doesn't really matter. But if I get that, I can jump straight back here and drop them off, which, you know, secures some of them for me, which is the goal, so.
The skull and crossbones, it hit the ship on the island, causing much of the treasure to go overboard. Each player must give 1 treasure piece to every other participant, who in turn has to load it onto the ship. If a player does not have enough treasure to give to each person, they decide for them who receives 1 and who does not. Alright,
so say if 2 of us were playing and I had spun that up, I need to give 1 of mine just to Nathan because he's the only person playing. It was 1, wasn't it? Yeah. If we were playing with all 4 people, I would then have to give 1 to red, 1 to yellow, and 1 to the blue player as well. Obviously that can affect them if they don't have room to put that on. If they've already got the maximum, then maybe they'll lose their whole ship's worth of treasure too. You never know. Or you could be helping them.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Oh, there's 1 more. And the last one is the little island space here in the back corner.
Which basically says the affected ships are lucky. The tornado is not very strong. You do not lose any treasure, but that moves the affected ship to the next island.
Yeah. So maybe I was here, and then that would move me over here. You have to follow whatever you're moved on to.
Yeah, so that one you'd have to take 2 treasure pieces because of the red treasure chest.
So that, again, could be good or bad. Obviously, if I've already got my maximum treasure, I don't want to have to land on a red one that's going to force me to take them, and then I'm going to, you know, capsize and lose all my treasure. But it also could work out in your favour and land you on something. Maybe you don't have a lot of coins and you get to pick a bunch up, so. The
other thing I want to mention, the other weird thing with the tornado is so the tornado's here, I roll, I get a 2. 1, 2, it doesn't affect me. The tornado only takes effect if it lands on something, not something landing on it.
Yeah, which is weird because I mean you couldn't drive into a place in real life where there's a tornado without getting yourself in danger.
The tornado can go through ships. You can land on the tornado. Nothing happens, and only if the tornado happens to land on you.
Which, in a 2-player game, doesn't happen too often because there's only 2 of you, but when you've got 4 people playing and more frequently rolling the tornado, then obviously you're more likely to have that extra strategy going on and you know, be able to land on people more.
There are 2 very small variations. One for younger players, it plays the same except the tornado die is not used. So if you roll this, you just move 1.
Yeah.
Tornado is not used.
They'll be very young kids though, I think.
Advanced is if you roll a tornado, you can choose to go clockwise or counterclockwise for the tornado.
So a little bit more strategy can come into play.
If it just misses Laura, darn, then, you know, I can go back next turn and try and get her.
But normally it is only counterclockwise in the normal game.
That's pretty much, it's a pretty neat game. I think it really needs more than 2 plays to get the most out of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good fun family game to play. So, very good quality pieces too, which I always appreciate. We keep our board games generally for a really long time, like we've got childhood board games still and things like that. So it's nice to see something that you can keep in good condition, you know.
I'd be interested to see if this is still sold. So this, it looked like a won some award in 2006 on the front of the box.
It's a bit later than 2006 now though.
Yeah, so I'd be interested to see if they've re-released it or if it's available in different form or something.
If you enjoyed watching this video, give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comment section down below if you can still purchase this new or whether it's just a second-hand sort of pickup these days. Hit that subscribe button and check back soon. We have videos every single Tuesday.
And hopefully more Heinz beans.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.